Pitch deck is the most fundamental item in our startup pack. Okay, we go to the core thing that every startup knows about, but most startups don't know how to do well, and it's the pitch deck. This is the startup Bible. This is the thing that is basically the most fundamental part of what we're doing. Basically, you already have done it, and you'll see in a minute that all what we need to do now, after all the process that we did, is to consolidate everything into a pitch deck. And I must tell you that whenever I see entrepreneurs, it doesn't matter if they're beginner entrepreneurs or a well-based startup, my first question to them is, send me your pitch deck. And then I look at the pitch deck. The pitch deck is reflecting for me everything. It's like, when a doctor is looking at your x-ray and they look and say, oh, there's a problem, or, oh, it's so nice. That's exactly how a well-seasoned entrepreneur is relating to a pitch deck. The pitch deck is reflecting you, reflecting your business, reflecting what you're doing, reflecting the way you think. It's telling me everything about you. Okay? And you will see in a minute why. First of all, pitch deck basics. I did a whole video about pitch deck, a couple of them actually. You should look, and we will do a lot about it because it's so fundamental. It's so important. Basically, the pitch deck, why it's so important. It's condensing big ideas into a very simple impact message. Okay, it's like blockchain, which is taking something, the whole ledger and compressing it to a hash. Okay, it's something which is, when you look at it, you can tell a lot about everything that this business and those co-founders are doing. The most fundamental principle of pitch deck, it must be short, precise, and focused. I discussed this before, and I told you that an average analyst at a VC firm is getting about 100 pitch decks a day to check. This is already telling you how busy she is. Okay, and they invest about 3 minutes to read your pitch deck. I invest less. When I'm looking at a pitch deck, honestly, I'm investing a minute and I can tell everything about you. So make it short, precise, and focused. A lot of entrepreneurs and investors are very, very busy people. Okay, we travel, we're free. Okay, we're free for entrepreneurship, but I'm not going to waste my time on trying to understand what someone else did. Expect the pitch deck to be easily readable, even when I'm on my mobile phone, when I'm traveling. Don't forget that most entrepreneurs and investors are most likely to be smarter than you. This is a fact, otherwise they didn't succeed with what they did so far. Okay, so you may think that you're smarter, but that polite, gentle lady at the VC firm, she's most likely have done much more than you in her life, and she's most likely smarter than you. Okay, so don't try to impress with the superlatives. Let's use the right word with bullshit. Okay, try to stick to facts. Try to stick to what you're actually going to do and wanting to do. Also, don't forget that the people that read it maybe they're not so smart, but they definitely know, at least one of them will know more than you. I know of cases that investment committee invited people from AWS, from Microsoft. Okay, so if the entrepreneur said something about architecture and thought that maybe though this investment committee will be, mainly of business people which understand nothing about architecture, then they had someone which was 20 years in AWS and knew much more about architecture than all of us together. Okay, so it's highly recommended that every word that is written in the pitch deck is backed up by really good research. You have done your research and you have done top tier research. Now, something about the pitch deck format. The pitch deck has a very specific format. I know that there are a lot of styles for pitch deck, and I know that there are lots of outliers, like if you look at the Uber pitch deck, it doesn't fit with this format. But you know, we're not looking at Donald Trump and trying to compare us to him, okay? Donald Trump is Donald Trump, Uber is Uber. And if you want to succeed with the mass numbers, because you're competing here with a lot of people, you should have a very strict format for your pitch deck. It needs to be combined of very limited number of slides, which I will define now. So the first slide needs to be some kind of a mission statement, which we discussed before. So you need to put your mission statement, which you already developed, in one sentence, and below it, your contact details. This is allowing the person which is reading your pitch deck to understand what is your goal. You remember we said that we're going to define it. You already need it. Next slide is defining the problem. Okay, we discussed already that not everything is a problem. That's fine. It can be innovation. That's fine. But in high level, I'm speaking about the second slide needs to be something around the problem. It needs to be one sentence of the problem, only one, a hero sentence, which you see quite well in landing pages, which convert good. And then below it, another sentence. So this whole slide needs to be with big fonts, the problem statement, and a sub-problem statement. We'll discuss it later with some examples. Then I move to the third slide. After I understand the mission statement and the problem, I define my solution. We already defined our solution. The solution needs to be no more than 4 bullet points. If it's more than 4 bullet points, I'm not reading it. Nobody will read it. And it needs to be big font, like exactly this slide. 4 points. Okay? The fourth slide is the market. We already defined the market. So all what you need to do is to copy paste some kind of a statement and a diagram of your market size and the growth of your market. Please note that all the content of the pitch deck we already developed. We already have it in other documents. We are basically finalizing our IP in this pitch deck. Next slide, the product. So we have the problem solution. Now we're okay. How I'm going to do it? Actually, what is my product? You define the product, so you should be able to write this slide. Next slide, why actually this product is unique, special, or has some kind of intellectual property. It doesn't have to be unique. It doesn't have to be special, and doesn't have to be a lot of intellectual property, but it has to be one of those. Okay, it has to be something which is attracting the reader to say, oh, that product, yeah, it has something behind it. There's a technology, there's an IP behind it. Okay, there's something unique, smart, innovative about it. Okay, it needs to be defined in 2 sentences, in big letters. The next slide is the business model, which we already developed. How are we going to take money? So is it B2B, B2C, and subscription, licensing? How I'm going to charge money and how much? Okay, what is the pricing model? Again, condensed. We're taking all the business model document which we developed, condensing it into one slide. The next slide is the market adaptation. How actually I'm, Eran, going to conquer this market? What is my plan? Is it going to be by attending conferences? Is it by advertising? Which I highly recommend not to mention in a pitch deck. Advertising, it's very, very banal. It's very basic. It's obvious. You need to think of more creative ideas. Referral program. Things like that. We can discuss it separately, but slide 8 needs to be at the market adaptation. After we invaded the market, we have the market, who are we going to fight there? Who is the competition? Who else is in the market? And why me is going to be better? Why I'm going to be better? Okay, this competition slide. Then, okay, great. I have problem, I have solution, I have product, I have technology, I have market, I have competition, but who am I? Who is going to do that actually? Okay, so this slide needs to define the founders, the team. I recommend not to put more than 3 people in this slide. All those slides which you put trying to overload it with all sorts of advisors. Again, don't try to bullshit. Who are the core people which are actually not sleeping at night and going to do this business? The last slide is, okay, you understood that we have something here, but what do you want from me, from the investor? Okay, so this slide is about funding, how much money I want and how much I'm willing to give for it. I want $10 million and I'm willing to give 10% safe equity for that. Be careful with what you're offering. Be carefully with all the mucking around with vesting equity. Please refer to my other videos about vested equity and future equity and stuff like that. We'll discuss it in lengthily beyond this course. But this slide, back to the pitch deck, needs to be about funding. And then when I click next, all what I need to do is to see this thank you and the contact details. Okay, nothing else. So back to the pitch deck format. Notice it has only 12 slides. 2 of them are the intro and the end slides. So basically it's only 10 content slides. The intro is a mission statement, problem, solution, market, product, technology, and IP, business model, pricing model, market adaptation, competition, the team, funding, and thank you. Anything else more than that is probably not such a good pitch deck. If you're writing too much content, it's not a good pitch deck because nobody will read it. Nobody will read it. Now, especially people like us, which are not English native speakers, very important to check the spelling and finalize it in a very tidy document. Okay, check spelling, check how you can condense the messages. I refer to those ideas in the other videos. I want to thank you for looking at my channel, and I want to thank you for subscribing, and I want to thank you for your feedback. Please feel free to contact me at any time, either in the comments or through LinkedIn or whatever you want. And don't forget that I'm posting all those slides on Telegram, so you're invited to join the Telegram channel and enjoy some documents. See you. Bye-bye.